Hey YouTube fam, welcome back to my Reka Academy channel where curiosity leads the way. Today we're embarking on a fascinating journey exploring how our curiosity has evolved over time. So buckle up for a ride from stories to sciences. I'm your host, June Veva Jr. and let's dive in. Alright, so we're back. So you're seeing me looking at my screen on my laptop because I have a PowerPoint presentation here. I cannot look up there, the camera installed over my head. Now, back in the day, let's continue our discussion. Back in the day before we had modern science and technology, regular folks, our ancestors, our LOLO, LOLA, TITO, TITA, KAPIT BAHAY, TYISMOSA, sama mo na yan. You name it. You know what I mean. They had their own ways of explaining things or explaining these questions. We'll talk about that questions later on. But they come up with answers. Imagine by that. They come up with answers based on stories, based on myths, based on legends, superstitions, and traditions. These stories help them make sense of the world. Okay? So you get the idea. But then, there were some really smart people like scholars, like scientists, artists, and philosophers who wanted to provide more detailed answers. They tried to use their knowledge and creativity to come up with explanations. However, their ideas didn't always quite get it right, even though they were a step in the right direction. Okay? Now, this is the emergence as we continue. So, over time, people kept searching for better answers. And that's when they came up with something called the scientific method. A scientific method, it's a special way of looking at the world and figuring things out. With this method, the scientific method, we could gather information and knowledge systematically and objectively. So that is what we call it, scientific method. Now, there are different types of science like biology and physics. These natural sciences help us understand the natural world. Things like animals, plants, and how stuff works in the physical world. But there was an exciting part there, is when people realize, right? You and me and you, realize they could use the tools and methods from the natural sciences to understand how humans behave and how our society works. So this led to the development of social sciences like sociology and anthropology. Okay, so are you still with me? And those are the definitions. Those are the definitions of the scientific method and social sciences. However, I don't want to leave you hanging with just definitions. I'd like to provide you with some fundamental understanding of curiosity, which ultimately led to the development of the scientific method and the birth of the social sciences. So let me share a brief anecdote rooted in tradition. When I mention story and tradition, I'm actually referring to our innate curiosity. Story plus tradition equals curiosity. Okay, so that is my own equation. You cannot see that in any textbook. And that's the simple equation of the word curiosity. Got it? And now is the story to tell of curiosity from our LOLO at LOLA, TITO, TITA, KAPIT BAHAY, and TYISMOSA. I'm going to break it down into three parts to help you easily grasp the concepts of the scientific method and social sciences. Of course, we'll begin with curiosity, as the scientific method was developed because of the curiosity. All right, so here's the story now. Once upon a time, a long time ago, people looked up at the night sky and saw the stars. They wondered, what are those shiny dots up there? Why do they appear at night? And how can we make sense of them? So they come up with stories and traditions to explain the stars. They said the stars were the campfires of ancient heroes who were now in the sky watching over us. These stories help them feel connected to the night sky. So, meaning to say, curiosity is like asking why. It's like asking how about the things, because you are curious. So you are asking why and asking how about the things, right? It's a natural human trait that drives us to ask questions and seek understanding. And when I say natural trait, it means, what I mean by that is, it's not based on evidence. Okay? So it's curiosity. So when you are curious, it's not based on evidence because you are curious, which means our equation is right. A story, you have the story to tell. Tradition equals curiosity. Now, to further investigate this, we need evidence, right? Evidence comes into play when we use methods like the scientific method to find answers to those questions sparked by our own curiosity. And here is the answer. As the time went on, some really smart people wanted to know more. They built telescopes and started studying the stars. They use a special way of learning called, here we go, the scientific method. So from curiosity to a scientific method. It's like a step-by-step process for answering questions. This scientific method is a way to find answers with evidence. Remember, with evidence. When we are talking about scientific method, we have an evidence. But if we only curious about things, we don't have evidence. And that's how we got social sciences. This interesting, okay? Studying meaning social sciences, let me get into that point. Social sciences is studying people and society using this cool method, using the scientific method. Now, here's the cool part. People realize if they can use the scientific method to study the stars, they can also use it to study or to understand people and our behavior. This gave birth to social sciences like sociology and anthropology. So just like they look at the stars and figured out what they are with science, they also started looking at people and society with science. They use the same tools to learn about why we act the way we do and how our society works. And that's how they use their curiosity to go from the stories about stars to understanding people and society using the scientific method. It's like a big, exciting adventure of learning, but it is what it is. So, in a nutshell, our human curiosity led us on a journey. We started with stories and traditions to explain our world, and then we developed this scientific method to learn more systematically. This method eventually gave birth to social sciences, which help us understand human behavior and society using scientific methods. Cool, right? I hope this helps you understand the lecture and its significance. Thank you for watching. See you next time.